Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are live. I want to share this in my Facebook group. Welcome, everyone, to Coffee Chat. I'm Salandia Hammond. As soon as I can find it, I will share it and we will get kicking. We are just going to do a short coffee chat here this morning, open to answering your questions while I'm here live. And if you got a question and I'm not here live, leave that question and I'll get back to you expeditiously. How about that? Huh? How about that? Let's see here. Can you believe we are almost in May? This is unbelievable how time is flying. And for those of you who say that I'm getting a house in 2025, I just want you to know that there is still time, but you need to get yourself together and let's get it, make it do what it do. Okay, so hey, I'm your girl Sue Ham, baby mortgage broker, marine veteran, real estate investor, Gigi, mother to 3 beautiful children, and your home ownership hype woman. I'm coming to you guys live with another coffee chat. No guest this morning, just you and I, one-on-one. We're going to talk about it. In today's episode, I'm hoping we can set some people free, because it's a lot of lies out there, a lot of lies keeping you in rent land. Now, let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with rent land, okay? I don't want people to think I'm against renting because I am a landlord, all right? So there's nothing wrong against renting, but there's something wrong if you desire to have your own house. Just like I always said, there was nothing wrong with working a job. I worked a job for a long time. I was a Marine veteran. After being a Marine veteran, I became a civil service employee working for the federal government. And I also worked some other jobs. So there's nothing wrong with working a job, but I just knew for me, that wasn't my gig. That wasn't my thing. I knew that was only going to be temporary. I had to move on. So same thing applies with renting. If you feel like renting is not your gig, it's just something for right now and you want to move on, then that's why I'm here. So don't think I'm bad talking you renters. I'm not doing that. All right. But I do want to let you know, for those of you who have been renting for years, and if you qualify or just waiting for the perfect time to buy, this episode is your wake up call. So go ahead and share this, tag some people. We're going to do some, we're going to do about 4 segments. The first segment is, I took some notes, is renting is costing you. The second segment is we're going to bust some myths. Okay. A lot of things that people think are true are really, really not true. Segment 3, we're going to talk about why pre-approval is powerful. Segment 4, how to get your pre-approval ready. Segment 5 is your call to action, man. What are you going to do? How are you going to get it going? So go ahead and take time to share the broadcast. I hope you got your coffee, your tea, or whatever it is that you drink early in the morning, whether it's water. I left my water downstairs. I got to go grab it, but not during this episode. I won't. So we're going to get it popping. Okay. You can always drop your questions. I'll be more than happy to answer them live on the broadcast. Like I said before, if you're not live, I'll answer them when I see them. Usually it is expeditiously. So go ahead and share this broadcast. Welcome, everybody. Now, renting, as I said, is not a bad thing. It's just not a forever thing if you want to build wealth. You can go and you can look at the studies, and studies have shown that one of the surest ways to financial freedom and wealth is through home ownership. 75% of mainstream America owns a home. Home ownership also brings about stability. It brings about access to money if your home is in an appreciating area and you're not drowned with debt. It can open up the doors for you to do so many things, whether it's to start a business, take a vacation, whether it's to retire early, add to your retirement, whether it's to send someone to college, to pay off debt. Those walls in your home, if it has some appreciation, build up some equity, can do all of that for you. And that's the beauty of owning a home. And real estate is something you can touch, right? Yeah, I know it takes a little process to access that money, but I look at owning a home like owning a savings account. You're paying down the mortgage if there is one on it and building up your equity. So let's take a $1,400 a month rent, right? What if you're paying $1,400 a month for rent for a year? How much do you think that you've contributed to that landlord, to that owner in a year at $1,400 a month? Well, you don't even have to calculate it, because guess what? I've got my handy dandy calculator and I've already done it for you. $1,400 a month in rent is $16,800 a year that you have paid to stay somewhere that is not yours, somewhere that you cannot change, somewhere that you're told you can't really have parties, somewhere that you're told you can't change the colors, somewhere that you're told this person can't stay here, that person can't stay here. $16,800 a year at $1,400 a month. Let's take it a step further. What if you stay in that same place and let's just hopefully the rent stayed at $1,400? They did not increase it, right? But we do know in most cases, rents do go up every year. Let's stop right there for a minute. Mortgages doesn't necessarily go up every year unless you have an adjustable rate mortgage, right? The mortgage, if it's a fixed rate, interest rate, it stays the same. Now, what can adjust are your taxes and your insurance. All right. So let's think about that. Because a lot of people say, well, your mortgage, it changes. No, unless it's an adjustable rate mortgage. If it's a fixed rate, it does not change. However, yes, your insurance and your taxes can adjust the same way it does on your vehicle. So let's think about that now, because a lot of people like to say, well, I don't know for certain. You don't know for certain with your vehicle either. Your taxes and your insurance can adjust and sometimes does adjust. And what do? Like they taught us in the Marine Corps, suck it up, adjust, and move on. All right. So let's take that same rent at $1,400 a month, right? And let's do that by 30 years. How much do you think that you would have spent in rent if you stayed in the same place and if they magically delicious did not change the rent for 30 years? They just kept it at $1,400, which is highly freaking unlikely, highly freaking unlikely. 1,400 times 360 months. Somebody get that to me. Get that to me. Hey, Sheena, welcome. You guys go follow Sheena Mullins. She is the wholesale queen, telling you how to make money with real estate without even owning real estate or having a license to do it. So go follow her, Sheena Mullins. So tell me, I got the answer right here on my paper, but somebody do $1,400 times 360 months. 360 months is 30 years. Go ahead and do that for me real quick while I sip this coffee. Come on, drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. I might send you $10 cash out for lunch. That might not be able to get you a whole lunch, but it'll get you one rib. 360 months times $1,400 in rent. How much is that? Nobody wants a $10 cash out? Okay, I'm about to drop the answer since you guys didn't put it up there on the screen. Going once, going twice, going a third time. Boom, nobody took the cash out. All right, that's $504,000. If you stayed and rented for 30 years, and if your rent did not increase, and it was $1,400 over that 30 years, you would have paid $504,000 in rent. You would not have accrued any equity or anything, but you would have had a place to stay. And luckily for you, you would have had no rent increase if the landlord didn't increase the rent. Okay, Lakeisha, you were the first one. Ooh, Lakeisha, you said, yes, you said $504,000. Okay, we'll send you the $10, even though we already announced it. And then Shawnice, you dropped it. Okay. Tell you what, ladies, if you share this broadcast, I'll send you both $10 a piece on the Cash App, okay? DM me your Cash App, unless you feel comfortable dropping it here. You can do so. If not, DM me your Cash App or text it to me at 843-230-0175. All right. So that's $504,000, right? There's no equity. There's no legacy. There's no ownership. None of that. And you're renting and you've given somebody $504,000 over 30 years. And that's hypothetically if your rent did not increase, which we know that is not the case because people are out here, talking about how rent is going up $100, $200, $300 without really any notice. And thanks, Shawnice, for sharing that. And unfortunately, when you are renting, that is the case. If you are not in a rent cap state, landlords can raise the rents to whatever they desire. All right. So renting is costing you. That is our first segment. That's just something for you to think about. Now let's bust some myths going into segment number 2. How much? Let me ask you something. What is the minimum amount that you can put down for a down payment on a home? Okay, the minimum amount. When we are talking about, there are different loan programs out there. Yes, Sheena, that's $500,000. Ownership is always best. And just think about this now. In that 30 years, right? That's $500,000 that you've lost if you're rented. But if you were buying, just think about that. If every 10 years you wanted to access the equity in your home to do something, to pay off debt, right? Or maybe to put it into another vehicle that could bring you money, like stocks and bonds, or maybe to start a business, something that could bring you money. Or if you don't start a business, maybe to take that money and invest in business that could bring you money. Or if you decided you want to pay for your kids to go to college, I'm not trying to take equity out of my house to pay for my kids to go to college unless they becoming a doctor. Like my son, can I just drop this right here? My son, who is graduating from one of the top 5 medical schools next month, he is graduating, becoming a doctor. Yay! And he'll be doing his residency in Chicago. So I'm very excited about that. But other than that, I'm not trying to drop no money and no kids going to college, because most times you ain't even working in the field that you went to college for, and you don't racked up all this debt. Anyhow, that's another segment. We'll do another coffee chat on that. You can go renovate a house and make the money off of that. And if you want to go to college, take that money and you go to college and you pay for it. So, baby, ain't doing it. All right, let me go back. Robin says the least amount that you can put down for a down payment on a house is 3%. Okay, 3%. All right. Sheena says 3.5%, 5%, 10%, 20%. And Bonnie just wants to say, good morning. Good morning, beautiful. Welcome, welcome. Well, there are loan programs where you can put down 0%. You're probably saying 0% is not a number, Sue. Zero is a number, though, right? There's 2 types of loan programs. There's a USDA loan program. Very good, Lakeisha. USDA program, which is 0% down. Not everyone qualifies. There are income restrictions and there are location restrictions. And then there is the VA program. If you're a veteran or military member or surviving spouse, you could possibly qualify for the VA loan, yes, Robin, VA, which in my humble opinion is the best loan out there. And veterans, a lot of veterans are not taking advantage of it. I think there was something on Google that said only 6% of veterans in the US are utilizing their VA benefits when it comes to home ownership. So if you've been following me, you see that I've been posting a lot about VA loans. And if you like a VA guidebook for free, you can go to loanswithsuham.com, that website on the bottom of the screen, and go pick up one. I don't need your email or anything. I'm just giving it to you veterans for free. All right. So that's a myth. Most people think you got to put down 5%, 10%, 20% down on a home. That is a freaking myth. You do not have to put down 20%. If you get yourself together, home ownership is a plan. It doesn't have to be a dream. It's a plan that we put forth and bring it into reality. And so there are programs like the FHA, like conventional programs that allow 3% down. There are FHA programs that allow 3.5% down. And if you are credit challenged, there are FHA programs that allow you to put down 10%. Now, if you want to put down 20%, and like I said, again, I feel like home ownership is almost owning a home is like a bank account. And so if you want to put down 20% into that home that you know that you're going to be in, hey, baby, you're just building up your equity even faster. So, you know what I'm saying? In my opinion, I'm not a financial advisor. Let me put the disclaimer out there. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an accountant. I'm not an attorney. Not a tax person. I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your money. But in my opinion, for me, if I had to put 20% down in a home or 20% in the bank, it's going to be in a home. All right. Thank y'all for participating. Make sure y'all hit me up on the DM now, the 2 people who won the Cash App prizes. Okay. So VA loans, 0%, USDA loans, 0%, conventional programs, 3%, FHA programs, 3.5%. They can go down to as low as that. Okay. Myth number 2, I can't buy a house because of student loans. I know we've seen student loans all over the news feeds right now. And wow, it sucks. I have my own personal opinions about student loans and whatnot. Just like I do about healthcare. Other countries, college is free. Other countries, healthcare is free. I don't think we should have to pay for that, but hey, that's just my opinion. We pay taxes, we work, everything is going up except wages. I hear you. I feel you. I feel the same way. But listen, you can get a loan with student loans. Now, if your payments are in deferment, most loan programs are going to want one of two things, right? We're either going to have to calculate a payment for you. People are like, well, why? It says zero in the credit report. Well, we understand that, but you got to also think from the lender's perspective and these programs' perspective. Yeah, it may say zero, but what if next month after you've closed your home, they say, hey, we want you to start making payments, right? So the reason why we have to calculate a payment is because we don't want you to now incur some financial difficulty or have challenges because you did not have that student loan calculated in your budget. Now, if you got a lot of student loans and you're not quite making enough income to cover that, it can stop you. But there's another alternative. You can call whomever has access to your student loans, and you can ask them to put you on an income repayment plan. And you can ask them to, hey, it never hurts to ask. I believe in you have not because you ask not. Ask them to forgive them dang on loans, okay? You just never know. And if you are a veteran watching this, a lot of veterans do not know this. If you are 100% disabled with the VA and you have student loans, you can send that proof in to whoever has your student loans and they will wipe them out. Get it done. Come on, veterans. That's a good tip right there in and of itself. If y'all thought that was a good tip, comment yes. Comment yes if you thought that was a good tip. Come on, comment yes. Comment yes. So those two tips right there with student loans, you can still get a loan if you make enough money, if you can get on an income repayment plan, or if when we, thank you, Erica. Erica says yes. Robin says yes. Thank you. Or if you get on a payment plan that will accommodate you. And if you're a veteran, Bonnie says yes. If you are a veteran and you're 100% disabled, you can call whomever has your student loans and get those bad boys wiped out. Okay, so make it do what it do right now. Come on, there's more people on this broadcast. Comment yes if you thought that was a great tip. So, myth number 3, my credit isn't perfect. I need perfect credit. I need an 850, 850. I need a 720. Now, granted, those are some amazing credit scores, but you don't need it. I don't need it. Jamie Foxx, I'm sorry. I don't need it. For those of you who don't know, I am heavily, into entertainment. I did a lot of stage plays. I'm an MC, not as a rapper, but I host events and things like that. And so mistress of ceremonies. And so I love entertainment. But anyway, so if you see me break off in a tangent, I promise you I haven't lost my marbles. Hey, it is what it is. So you don't need perfect credit. It is great to have great credit. Why? Because you have access to better interest rates. Better interest rates lower the amount of interest that you pay back on your mortgage, and it also lowers the amount of your mortgage payment. So of course, better credit is the way to go. But let me dispel the myth that you have to have perfect credit. That is so not the case. I have been able to help people with a low 600 score, bless them, get into a home with interest rates below 6%. Okay. I've been able to help people with a credit score of 563. And let me put the disclaimer out there. That does not mean I want all bad credit loans. Let's put the disclaimer out there right now. Don't start calling me and saying, well, I got a 512. Can you help me? It is possible to help you, but you are going to need some money. And so having low credit or challenge credit and no money does not work. That does not work together. Okay. So don't get married with that. Now, the most forgiving loan with challenging credit is the VA loan. If you miss a few payments and you were sick or you lost a job or you went through a divorce, there are some lenders that will accept the LOE, which is a letter of explanation, for you explaining what happened in your life. And if you can show proof, can still work it out to where we can get a loan for you. Okay. Everyone else, FHA does go down to a 500 credit score, but you're going to be required to put down a 10% down payment and your interest rate is going to be higher. Okay. So I want you to understand that. And I hear it all the time. Everyone says, well, my sister got this and she had this and this going on. Well, my best friend got this and they did this and this for them. Everybody's situation is different. Okay. You don't know how their credit profile looks. You don't know how their financial profile looks. You don't know how their employer profile looks, right? Someone may have been on their job 20 years where you have been working for 2 years, but you've had 3 jobs. You see what I'm saying? Does that look stable? Which looks more stable? Someone who's been at the same job for 20 years or someone who's worked 3 different jobs over the course of 2 years, right? Then person A might have $30,000 in a retirement account. You, person B, only have $3,000 in a savings account. It's totally different. So you cannot compare apples to oranges. If we're going to compare things, we got to compare the same fruit to the same fruit. So I said that to say this: do not take advice from from a person who is not in the mortgage industry, right? Because they typically don't know how things work. They don't understand that everybody's scenario is different. That's why I don't typically like to quote anything or tell somebody, yes, this and this, that, without talking to them one-on-one. So I do free home loan consultations so we can talk about what's going on with your situation, because your situation, I guarantee you, is different than somebody else. Okay. Now, I also want to dispel the notion that you think you don't need any money to get into a home. I know we see all these great posts about my client got back $2,000 at closing. Y'all see them, right? They're beautiful, aren't they? My client walked away without having to put anything down. It's beautiful. But let me tell you this, from the lending perspective and from the realtor's perspective, right? You do need upfront money, whether it's your money, your boo's money, your daddy's money, your mama's money, your cousin money, your friend and them money. You do need money up front because there are some out-of-pocket things that you got to pay for. Out-of-pocket things like you got to put down your earnest money deposit. You got to pay for inspections, like a termite inspection, a housing inspection. You have to pay for an appraisal. These are things that are required up front, right? So you do need that money up front, regardless of what people tell you. And even if you get money back at closing because there's been a great down payment assistance program that's been applied, or the seller pays some of your closing costs, just know that your loan file looks a lot stronger if you can show some money in the bank, whether it's 3, 4, 5,000. It just looks a lot stronger. Okay. I know USDA does not have a reserve requirement, right? But it just looks a lot stronger if you could just show some money in the bank. So I tell people, go ahead and try to save up $3,000 to $5,000. Put it in the bank, okay? Let it sit there for 60 days. Let it season for 60 days. And I know some of you may have chime accounts, and some lenders will use that. But if you can, get a regular account, right? Buying a home is a big thing. It doesn't have to be challenging if you get yourself ready. So go ahead and get your regular bank account. Go ahead and start letting your direct deposit go there. If you're just starting a job and you want to buy a home in 2-3 years, go ahead and start a 401k, or either start a savings somewhere or buy some stocks and some bonds. Go ahead and show that you have some reserves put away. All right. It makes your profile a lot stronger, especially if you don't have 700 and 800 credit scores. But again, you don't need perfect credit. Okay. Hi, Susie. Susie is from Rehab Wallet. They do commercial loans for what I use them for. They do like car washes. They do apartment complexes and everything, but I use them religiously to help me with the funding for homes that I buy and fix and sell, or either rent to other people. And Rehab Wallet is a great resource. Susie's been on the podcast before, and she'll be back, I think, on May 7th. So Sheena has been on the podcast before as well. Sheena Mullins. All right. So we've discussed the myth, I need 20% down. We discussed the myth, I can't buy a house because of student loans. We discussed the myth, my credit isn't perfect, so therefore I can't buy it. And let's discuss myth number 4, I don't make enough money. How do you know you don't make enough money? How do you know? Because most of you probably don't even know about debt to income, right? Because that's the formula that we use to decide if you make enough money. We're going to take into account all your debts, and then what your house note would be, with your taxes, insurance, and interest, and pit it against your income and determine what you can afford. So let us determine that for you. Don't discount yourself. And I feel like, and I say this from experience because I used to do it. A lot of us discount ourselves. We disapprove ourselves before we even know if we're disapproved or not. And even if you are disapproved, get with someone. Even if you don't get with me, get with someone who's going to give you a plan on how to get to home ownership instead of someone who just says no, you don't qualify and leaves it at that, or someone who never even gets back to you. Let me just say this, the disclaimer: not all lenders are the same. Not all brokers are the same. That is one of the beauties of being a mortgage broker for me, is that I have access to several different lenders. I can shop around for you to fit your scenario. Remember, I told you everyone's scenario is different. That's the beauty of what I do. I can shop around and find the best scenario for you. So whereas your bank or your credit union or a retail lender may tell you no, I may be able to tell you yes. However, I'll be very honest with you. I cannot fix horrible credit in the 400s, and I can not fix not having any money, because, as we stated before, there will be some money that is needed. Do not let people tell you that they don't. I am licensed in Erica. I am licensed in South Carolina, but the company that I work with, we have team partners that are licensed in 48 states. So through them, I would be able to help you get a home loan if that is something you desire. For those of you who want to set up a free home loan consultation, go to the website that's down below the screen there, loanswithsuham.com. I'll be more than happy to talk to you. Thank you so much, Susie. I appreciate you. You are the best as well. All right. So let's talk about why a pre-approval is powerful. Most people say it just takes too much work to do a pre-approval. Well, again, that's why we're doing this podcast. I want you to be ready, right? It's not challenging to buy a house if you put yourself in a position. Listen, I am not going to do a pre-qual for you. A pre-qual is where you just fill out an application on my website at loanswithsuham.com, and you authorize me to pull your credit, and you tell me, you don't show me, you tell me what your income is. You, you understand what I'm trying to tell you? You tell me how much you say you have in the bank or in 401k or in stocks and bonds, right? You tell me what your assets are. You don't show me. And then I pull your credit, and then I say, hey, based upon your credit, based upon the income that you submitted, based upon the assets that you submitted, this is what you pre-qualify for. I don't do that. I don't set people up for failure, because what I have come to find out is that most people don't really know how much they make on their jobs, number one. Number two, most people really don't know how much they have in their bank account, savings account, checking account, 401k account, stocks, bonds, or other real estate investments. They really don't know until we break it down. So I'm not going to set you up for failure and say, hey, yes, you pre-qualify, go look for a house. Then you go look for a house. And then, we require your income docs, and now we require your bank statements. And I'm looking at it, and it's totally not what you told me. And now you don't qualify. I'm not going to do that. So know that when you put an application in with me, these are the documents I'm going to need so that I can look at it and issue you a strong pre-approval. And why do you want a pre-approval? Because that's powerful. Most realtors are not going to take you into a house unless you have a pre-approval. Most sellers do not want you in their houses unless you have a pre-approval where your income has been verified and your assets have been verified, your identification has been verified. And how do we do that? When you go to my website at loanswithsuham.com and you put in an application, I'm going to ask you for a photo ID. I'm going to ask you for authorization to pull your credit. I'm going to ask you to submit your 2 most current bank statements. I'm going to ask you to submit your 2 most current W-2s if you are working at a job. If you're not working at a job, I'm going to ask you to submit your 2 most current taxes for the business and for you personally. All right. If you do not have a business or anything of that nature, I don't care about your taxes. Only thing I'm going to want is your 2 most current W-2s. And I'm going to ask you to submit your 2 most current bank statements. That's what I am going to need. Okay. So let's go over that again. I'm going to need a photo ID. I am going to need authorization to pull your credit, which you'll check that yes when you're filling out the application. I'm going to need your 2 most current bank statements, your 2 most current W-2s. If you're self-employed or have a business, then I need your 2 most current taxes. And I need your 2 most current pay stubs. Okay. And from that, now I'm able to verify exactly what you make, how long you've been at the job, because if you got the two W-2s, I can show that you've been working, right? How long you've been at the job, how much you make, how much you have in assets. If you're getting Social Security or if you're getting VA disability, I will need that award letter as well. If you have money in 401k, stocks, retirements, anything that shows assets, I will need a statement from that as well. And then from there, I will process your application. So if you go ahead and start getting those things together now, boom, it's easy. And to be very honest with you, everything is digitalized. So I don't want to get all that stuff, Sue. Man, if you're working a job, you already have access to that stuff. Just download the pay stub on your phone as a PDF and email it, upload it to my files when you fill out your application. Same thing with your bank statements. You should not have to go into your bank and get that. You should be able to go into an app on your phone and download the PDF and then upload it to the file when you do your application with me. It's as simple as that. Same as with your 401k. All of that stuff is at your fingertips. So it's very, very simple. And I always recommend that everyone go ahead and create a folder on their desktop or either on their phones and put all that information in there. If you know that you are in the process of buying a house, every 2 weeks, download your most current pay stub and put it in there. Okay. Now, so that's why pre-approval is important, because once I issue a pre-approval, and I put you through the desktop underwriting and it comes back and it says you are approved eligible, that is a strong pre-approval. That means that more often than not, we're going to make it to the closing table. We're going to get funded and closed unless the appraisal comes back and the property does not meet the value. I have nothing to do with that. You have nothing to do with that. That's on the house. Unless the title comes back on the house and there's some liens against the house that nobody wants to satisfy. You have nothing to do with that. I have nothing to do with that. From the financial standpoint, we've done everything we need to do. So if that property doesn't work out, oh well, we just move on to the next property. But we know that financially you're good to go. All right. So that's what the pre-approval does. That's how it gets shaken down for me. That's how I do it. That's why you may have to do a little extra work, but it's so worth it. Come on, somebody. And you shouldn't be trying to skimp out on probably the biggest purchase of your house of your lifetime anyways. All right. So let's go into saving. Start saving, guys. Start talking to a lender early. If you know that something that you want to do as far as buying a house, getting out of the renting mode, start talking to someone early. That's why I offer free consultations. But I want you to be serious. If you ain't serious, don't waste my time and book the consultation. I just got to be real with you. If you're serious, then book the consultation, because I really, really, really am passionate about helping people achieve home ownership. And anybody that's known me for years know that when I start to do something, I get very passionate about. Very passionate about stage plays and writing. Very passionate about helping people get into real estate investing, very passionate about helping people get into home ownership. And always been very passionate about, trying to teach people how to make money with their phones and online. So if you're just new to me, go check me out on YouTube. You'll see that this is not something that's new. I've always been doing this for over a decade. So start saving, guys. Start putting away money. All right. Cut back on some of the things that you used to do, because homeownership is important to you, right? Someone said to me years ago, if you really want to know what's important to you, take a look at what you spend your money on. And I really just struck a nerve. And I was just like, wow, that's very, very true. If you really want to know what's important to you, look at what you spend your money on. If you look at my son, Jackson, Shrimper is important to him. Shoes are important to him, okay? Because that's what he spends his money on, right? And so we had to say, hey, dude, we're gonna force you to start saving. And so we forced him to start saving, because for him it was a shrimper and it was shoes. Susie said Sue is transparent in helping others achieve their home dreams. Thank you, Susie. And she's absolutely right. And they're very transparent in helping you achieve your real estate investment dreams. So check them out, rehabwallet.com. All right. Talk to a lender early. So, you guys, believe it or not, even with your credit, if you got some things in your credit, you can get stuff taken care of in like 2-3 months, just depending on what's on your credit. I mean, we've done an episode with credit repair specialists on here, and I'm going to bring somebody on that's local, Sumter, South Carolina, Dominique, the businessman. I'm going to schedule him to come on and talk to you. I was at a home buying seminar with him and a young lady by the name of Santania. She's a realtor. And it was an amazing seminar. And he delivered some amazing tips at a free home buying seminar. So Dominique, the businessman out of Sumter, South Carolina, and Santania, if you know them, follow them. I'll drop their stuff below. But that's what it's all about. So this brings me to call to action. You guys, I told you I'm willing to take questions. So drop your questions if you have them. Brings me to a call to action. Right? I want to send you my free home buying video. You can DM me. You can comment below and I'll send it to you. Or you can go to loanswithsuham.com and you can get it. Either way, whatever floats your boat. If you're a veteran, I would love to give you my free VA home buying guide. You can go to loanswithsuham.com or you can DM me and I'll send you the PDF. I don't need your email. I want to give that to you. If you're a first-time home buyer, I want you to know you have more options than you think. And if you're a dreamer, it's time to turn your dreams into a deed. So that's my call to action. DM me, you're ready. Let me know if you're a first-time home buyer. If you want that information, DM me, you're ready. Let me know that you're a veteran. And if you want that information, I'll be more than happy to help you. All right. I just want you guys to know, I think that you can get those keys. I don't think that you have to take $504,000 of your money and put into an apartment complex or townhome or single family home that you're renting from someone else. I think that you are worth that investment if you deem that you're ready and you're worthy of it. Again, I don't down talk renters. I will never do that. I have renters. I will never do that. Some people just want to rent and that's cool. But if you're renting and your plan, I'm not going to say dream, your plan is to own a home, then make it do what it do. Thank you, Lakeisha. She says, great information, Sue. I'm definitely sending clients your way. I appreciate it. You guys, go follow Lakeisha. She is a bad mama jamma. She's closing some loans like left and right. I'm looking at her Facebook page and she's like, credit close, sold a house, we're going to close. And I'm like, well, you go ahead, girl. So to all the females in real estate, come on, somebody who run the world. Okay, guys, don't get mad. I would love to see you guys do more. I really do. Matter of fact, I want to see more guys own homes. So I want to help you. So guys, you've been given the information. Go do your due diligence. Go do your research. You know, it is what it is. Share the broadcast. I'm Salon D.A. Hammond, aka Sue Ham, baby, with loanswithsuham.com. I would love to be able to help you. Let's establish a plan to get you into home ownership. Until next time, guys, listen, do your education, stay safe, stay healthy, stay smiling. A smile, it just, man, it really, really helps. I know there's a lot going on in the world, a lot of distractions. It seems like a lot of negativity, but know that there's a lot of positivity too. And if you feel like there's a lot of negativity and darkness around you, then I tell you what, you bring that sunshine. You know what I'm saying? You make somebody's day. Do I sound like the Clark sisters? You made my day. You came my way. All right, guys. I'll see you guys on the next coffee chat next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Blessings. Oh, goodness.